Good afternoon, Paranerds. I hope your day is going splendidly. And I welcome you back to the 31 Days of Halloween. We are continuing my 31 favorite horror movies. And man, this month's going by super fast. Today, we are talking about one of the craziest films I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Today, we are talking about Maximum.
Hi. My name is Stephen King. I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed.
Wow. What in the dickens is going on around here?
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories, and I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
Who was driving it?
I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us!
It was my first picture as a director, and you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
What is going on?
I don't know!
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
So come and spend some time with me and my friends at the Dixie Boy. Spend some time in the dark.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And that's a promise.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man.
We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is.
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
We are talking about Maximum Overdrive. Yes, the Stephen King directed Maximum Overdrive. And oh my gosh, is there a lot to talk about this film. Number one, let's get into what the movie's about, because the premise is just, sorry, something in my eyes, just insane. What happens during the movie is insane. And the behind the scenes craziness. We got a lot to talk about. So, when the tail of comet Ray M passes through the Earth's atmosphere, some crazy things start to happen. Trucks and machinery start to come to life and develop minds of their own. And they start a horrific rebellion against humanity. While at the Dixie Boy truck stop, both workers and patrons alike are forced to deal with these horrifying occurrences and somehow escape with their life. Especially when one of the truckers' trucks, which has the awesome Green Goblin head on the front, and it just starts running people over. Fantastic. Seems like he's running the show. Now, the patrons and employees are trapped in the Dixieland. That's Dixieland Flea Market over in Flint. I know you want to go there, dude, but that's not what this place is called. This place is called Dixie Boy. They're trapped in the Dixie Boy by the emotionless manager, played by Pat Hingle, an ex-con employee, played by Emilio Estevez. That's right, Emilio Estevez is in this movie, and he gives it his all. And he is a badass in this movie. They decide they're trapped in this. They have to make a run for it. Well, guess what? The manager, Pat Hingle, just happens to have an armory down in the basement. Yeah, just happens to have an armory. He's a gun nut. So now they have weapons to survive. So, what is their plan? To get out of the truck stop and go where? The whole world is being affected. What can they do? Watch this crazy ass film to find out, because holy crap, this film is insane. Stephen King, he says in the trailer that this was before like some of his adaptions were like really close to the source material and done very well. Some of his adaptions were just kind of based on it, and he was getting pissed that his stories weren't being told the right way. So he said, you know what? I'm going to take it upon myself to direct Stephen King the right way. It was just one issue. Stephen King was coked out of his mind this entire film. And what I mean by that, he was a cocaine addict. He finally got clean. But during this entire movie, he had no idea what he was doing. He was just absolutely high this entire film. And but yet somehow he was still able to make this crazy ass film that works. It fucking works somehow. This movie is so strong. And it has one of my absolute favorite kills. The steamroller baseball diamond scene. And I'm about to talk about that. When shooting the scene where the steamroller rampages across the baseball field, Stephen requested that the special effects department place a bag of fake blood near the dummy of one of the young boy players who would be run over by it. The desired effect would be that a smear of blood, just a small smear of blood, would appear on it and then go over the grass over and over, kind of like a printing press. But during filming of the scene, the bag exploded too soon and sprayed everywhere, making it appear as if the boy's head exploded. King was absolutely thrilled with these results, and I think it would have been an amazing thing to see. Why didn't we see it? The censors demanded it be cut. They did not want to see this. And I will admit, the very first time I watched this movie, I was too young. And I saw that scene. And it was Friday night. I got to go to the movie store. I rented this movie. I had my pizza and I'm watching it. And all of a sudden I see a little boy get run over by a steamroller. And I set my pizza down and I walked out of the room because I was done with this movie. And now it's one of the fakest looking kills, but it's so great. And I love this movie so much now. And that, again, it's one of my favorite kills. And that soundtrack it has when they're being killed, oh my gosh. When the trucks and the machines start to go insane and that weird, almost psycho-like thing. So creepy. But honestly, like now as a gore lover, I would have loved to see that head explosion. I think that would have been cool. Missed opportunities, right? The Dixie Boy truck stop was actually just a set. And it was so convincing that several truckers tried to stop in and get something to eat and some gas, not realizing that it was just a movie set. They had to put an announcement in the local papers saying that it's just a movie set, you're interrupting filming, please stop coming here. Hey, credit to the set designers. If you can make it look that realistic, that truckers are like, hey, place to stop for a bit. Good on you. Good on you. Stephen King is a huge fan of AC/DC, and when he got to meet them, he asked them if they would provide the music and soundtrack for this movie. He also offered a role for the band in the film, but they all declined, stating they're musicians, they're not actors. There is a claim that there's a scene where the band is on a boat, but that's not true. Excuse me. Acid reflux, you gotta love it. They did agree to do the soundtrack after Stephen King himself sung Ain't No Fun, Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire from their 1976 album Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. He sang the entire song from start to finish by memory. And the band died laughing. And they said, you know what? If you're such a fan that you would sing that song to us, we'll do this. We'll do the soundtrack. You win. You got us. And I'm so glad they did, because this soundtrack is awesome. It's such an awesome soundtrack, and they did a great job with the score. Hold on. Sorry, I lost my place. They perform all but 2 songs featured in the film, including 2 unreleased mixes of previous recorded songs, and the entire 1987 album Who Made Who is the soundtrack to this movie, because they wrote the track Who Made Who for this film. The rest of the songs are all previous AC/DC albums, or all from previous AC/DC albums. And at the time of the release, many music stores had no idea the album Who Made Who was a compilation soundtrack for the movie. They had no clue. And they also mislabeled the album as AC/DC's greatest hits. Limited pressings of the album did feature the movie's logo, stating it was a soundtrack to this, but later removed from future pressings, as this movie was not a box office success. And boy, oh boy, it could have been. I would love to see this movie remade now with Stephen King directing, sober. It is a fun movie. I'd love to see Emilio Estevez come back, too. He's a great character in this. He does a great job in this film. You root for him the entire time. This I found interesting as a paranormal investigator. When I saw the movie, I was like, I know what those are. The symbols flashing on the Star Castle video game in the truck stop are those typically used by researchers of clairvoyance at ESP. I remember seeing the cards. I was like, those are from the cards. What the... I was shocked to see that. So that was really cool. There's a scene, Yeardley Smith, who voices Lisa Simpson, is in this movie. And there's a scene in the film where she says to the character Brett, the Bible salesman, eat my shorts. And as we all, if you're a Simpsons fan, you know Bart Simpson's famous saying is eat my shorts. So that was kind of a cool little shout out to the Simpsons. Unfortunately, Yeardley Smith is not too fond of this movie and kind of regrets being in it, which sucks, but I love her and she's great in this movie. But I understand. Some people, they just don't like certain films, and that's understandable. It sucks, but I think she did a great job. This kind of makes sense when you find out what's making all the trucks come to life in these machines. Is there's a scene where a military Humvee is at the Dixie Boy truck stop, and it's using Morse code to communicate with the human beings. And then, like, when it gets pissed, it starts. They have a mounted M60, which starts shooting, which doesn't make sense because the M60 isn't activated by the truck. But you hear it growl, hinting that there may have been invisible aliens that actually landed and started causing all this mayhem. This is yet to be confirmed by Stephen King himself, but it would make for this, like, if it was true, it'd make a little more sense of why these trucks are coming to life. UFOs and aliens, man. wait until we start talking about UFOs and alien technology on this channel. You'll be shocked. This movie is so much fun to watch. When I grew up a little later and I watched this film, I was so happy I gave it a second chance, because I had so much fun watching this the second time around, watching that kid get run over by the steamroller. It's not even a realistic looking effect, but it's so much fun to watch. It's such a strange story. A decent cast, like Emilio Estevez, Yeardley Smith, Pat Hingle, they do a great job. Everyone else does a good job. There are some gruesomely fun kills, and a hilarious cameo by Stephen King himself. Yes, there's a cameo by Stephen King himself, and it's the funniest, one of the funniest lines in the movie. I give this film 4 evil green goblin trucks out of 5. I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you're a Stephen King fan of his novels, of his movies, or of the movies based on his novels, watch Maximum Overdrive. He attempted to direct a movie himself. Unfortunately, drug addiction, it's a terrible thing. But somehow this movie, and I don't know if it was the editing work, somehow they were able to make this movie work. And it works. And it's fun. Don't go in thinking serious horror, I'm going to be scared, oh my gosh. Go in saying, I want to watch a fun horror movie, and you'll enjoy this movie. That's how I had to view it the second time. And I had an absolute blast watching this movie. I can't get enough of this movie. I thank you all so much for watching the 31 Days of Halloween. I think we're about halfway through. I've got so many more goodies coming for you guys. I really hope you're enjoying this series. I'm having a blast making it for you. And I cannot wait for the final 2 episodes, because they're 2 of my absolute favorite horror films. And you'll see why, for at least one of them, I use quotations. And that'll be day 31, Halloween Day itself. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. We live in a weird world. This movie is a prime example of how weird our world can be. Go out and experience it. I hope your day continues to be splendid. And I thank you for watching. See you in the next one.